Hi guys! Today's subject might not be as fun as the rest of the ones that we've had so far, since I'm gonna talk about my childhood. I think it's time for me to open up a little bit more about my past, and maybe you can learn something about it in the process. It might sound really negative now in the beginning, but I promise you that towards the end, it will turn into something positive. And I apologize if this video is long, because there's a lot of things to talk about. And I'm gonna try to keep it as short as possible, but I apologize if this video is too long, and if you can't watch it all, don't worry about it. So let's begin. But I mean, this is not for me. This is for you. I'm only telling you this in hope that you can take something out of it and maybe learn something, or like think that we're in the same situation, or we were in the same situation, and like if you're struggling, you might be able to take something out of this. And I know that everyone has their past and they're struggling with something in life. That goes for everyone. Everyone has a story, and now I'm gonna share mine. Well, when I was a kid, I mean around 8 or so, I was pretty, I wouldn't say popular, but I had a lot of friends. And I had a lot of people to play with, and like I was not chubby, but I wasn't skinny either. I was like somewhere in between. And when I became 9, I drastically changed, like in width and in length. So I was at least a head taller than everyone else, and my friends sort of left me pretty much, and I was left to defend myself pretty much. Since I was taller than everyone else, I was made fun of in school a lot of times. Side note, if you see me smiling in this video, it's a way for me to kind of cope with everything. Okay, end of side note. So, as I was so tall, they called me long legs. Really, really good, right? Just to make this clear, long legs, or långben in Swedish, is actually Goofy. Like Goofy and, you know, Disney's Goofy. But långben is translated to long legs, so I'm gonna say long legs. And that continued up until like 9th grade. I wasn't taller than anyone else then, but I was being picked on, or like, yeah. So from age 9 to age 12, I was called long legs, and people just kept picking on me, like making my life really difficult. But I wasn't alone. I had a friend, which I wasn't allowed to be around. Not that it stopped us, but you know. And from her, I heard that they said, I really don't want to swear in this video, but I'm gonna effing ugly, effing long legs, they'd call me. And every time I passed them, like in gymnastics, in PE class, I mean, they said like, oh great, long legs passed us. And you know, since they were picking on my appearance a lot, kind of made it difficult for me, you know, to cope with the way I look. uh, with myself, pretty much, and I actually tried to kill myself when I was 10. I'm glad I didn't. I'm glad I chickened out, because otherwise I wouldn't be here today and be able to experience the things I have experienced. But at the time I thought, well, this is the only way to stop it. And it's just really sad that a 10-year-old should think that way. And I played dolls, like with dolls, with my sister up until the age when I was like 11, and then I stopped because they were picking on me because I was playing with dolls. And you know, they were picking on me for everything. And my way to cope with it was being angry. And that was how I coped with it. And in 7th grade and up to 9th grade, we only have 9 grades in junior high. Well, 7 to 9 is junior high. Above that is high school. Okay. So, and before, like, in 3rd grade to 6th grade, it's middle school. Okay. In 7th grade through 9th grade, they were still, like, they were freezing me out. And I actually prefer that over all the bickering and picking on me and everything like that. And it was just so good to be just ignored, pretty much. And I mean, I still had friends. I had 2 friends that I could rely on at that time. But then in 8th grade, my mom started drinking. She developed a drinking problem, and it was hard for me, for my brother as well. I mean, you know that Emma and I are only related. We have the same father, but not the same mother. So she could only see the effects it had on me, I guess. And I had to grow up pretty quickly because of it. Like, my mom was gone a whole lot, and my dad, he was never home because he was working all the time. So it was me and my brother having to fend for ourselves. Oh, it's getting kind of difficult. Okay. I don't know why it's so hard to talk about right now, because I talk about this a whole lot, honestly, without crying. Since my mom developed a drinking problem, as I said, we had to fend for ourselves, and we were wondering where she was. And my dad was always wondering, and when he was home, my mom and dad was always fighting. My mom kept hiding beers, like, under the couch, like in the cushions on the couch, and like just everywhere. And I tried to grab all of them and just pour it out, because I was so mad at her, and I was so mad at everything. And one time she said that, well, we've got a new clothes, well, used clothes from a friend of hers, and there were some pants there and stuff like that. And when I tried to, you know, change, she told me that you're never gonna fit in those, so you better just give it to me, because I'm gonna fit in it. And you know, at a time, let's just say her excuse was that she was drunk. She doesn't remember telling me this to this day. But I remember because I was there, obviously. And it's something that's still sticking with me today. Even though it wasn't her telling me that, it was her drunk self. So it continued, her drinking problems. And because of that, my grades dropped. Like really, really dropped. I used to be like not a straight A student. I wasn't that good, but I was pretty decent in school. And because I didn't do anything, because I lost all lust to do anything, I just became like an average student. I didn't get good grades. Well, I got okay grades, but that was about it. And I just became even more angry at the world, at myself, at everyone, you know. So in high school, my mom tried to stop, and she got into rehab. It failed the first time, and then she got in the second time. I don't know what the assignment was to school, but I was writing about my mom, I remember, at one point in English class, and he came up to me afterwards, my teacher, Mr. Andrews. Yes, he was American. He came up to me afterwards and just like, you know, there are support groups for this sort of situation. Do you want me to tell them that you want to be there? You know, he was just trying to be helpful, but for me it was like he was telling me that I couldn't do anything on my own, which I've been doing for a long time. And I just got really angry, like really angry, and I'm just like, no, I don't need no support group. It probably would have been good to have gone to one, honestly, to learn to cope with it earlier, but I was just too proud to do something like that. Then my mom got better and she became herself. The mom I'd always known, except for when she was drunk. But she managed to take it day by day, and she stopped smoking as well. And then further into high school I got, the more I started losing weight and became obsessed with losing weight. Almost to the point where I was anorexic. And people were worried about me. I couldn't see why, because I was still healthy. My health then meant that I was working out and stopped eating at noon. And I still saw myself in the mirror, and I just couldn't see anything nice about me at all. I just saw a fat cow, honestly, and I was just like, you need to lose some weight, you fat cow. And I kept telling myself stuff like that, like, you're so freaking fat, lose some weight, you ugly, you know. And I kept beating myself up all the time, and like with words, not actually beating myself up. That would be pretty hilarious. Well, and then my mental health started to deteriorate. Well, I wouldn't say deteriorate, but I just became really emotional. Couldn't handle it because I was hungry all the time. And my friend, since middle school, she was going through some stuff, rough times too, and like it was like a big dark time, I felt like, and Like, I know that my friends were worried about me that I had in high school, but since I didn't need anything. And one of them called my mom, and I just thought they were ridiculous. But now I'm grateful. So after a while, I realized that maybe they were right. Maybe I did have an eating disorder. And then the question was, like, how could I change it? How could I change my way of things without gaining weight? Because that was my biggest fear. And I don't know how, I think it was the support of my friends, but I somehow managed to. I stopped weighing myself every day. I stopped looking at myself in the mirror, because the mirror, the image of seeing myself in the mirror, like my entire body, was giving me the thoughts. And I just had to stop. It worked after a while. It took me a long time before I could even figure out what to do next. And then I became an adult and I started my new job. Too bad that job was a call center. And a lot of angry people kept calling and giving me names, and considering that I hadn't dealt with my past that well, it came up to me, and it just drained my energy, and I became really depressed. And after I quit that job, I kept being like depressed sorry for my brother who's in the background. But I was depressed for about a year before I was able to turn it around. And then, you know, things happen. I met Matt and stuff, and I realized that I just couldn't be angry all the time. I was constantly angry. I was constantly sad. I was constantly complaining about something. And that's not a way to live, honestly. So I decided to try to change myself for the better. I decided to stop complaining so much and actually do something about it. I started to, well, the anger was probably the worst to try to change, but I don't know, somehow I was able to change it into something better, because now I'm barely angry and I don't get mad at small things, or at least try not to. I'm not perfect, but I'm getting there. I'm not being perfect, you know, getting over things of being mad at small stuff. I'm trying to bring a positive view in my life, and I know that I wouldn't be where I am today unless I've been through everything I've been through in life. Yeah, it sucked. It sucked real bad what I've been going through. But I wouldn't be the person I am today if it wasn't for that. I wouldn't have come to this realization, you know, and have a depth still, I guess, to my personality if I was still the person I was back then, or if I hadn't been through all that. And I wouldn't say that I'm grateful for it, because I'm not, but I have turned things around. And just a year ago, you know, I can see that a lot of things have changed. Not just with, you know, I'm single now. Not just that. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about my personality change. And I'm so much more grateful for everything I've got. My friends, my family. What saved me during all those time of pain and anger was my dream of becoming a mother. That has always been a dream of mine, and it kept me from doing stupid things. Just, try to find a dream, and if you have one, great, strive for it. No matter what dream it is, just strive for it. Believe in yourself, you can do it. And my mom and I were closer than ever. And there's still stuff I'm struggling with, of course. Like, I'm struggling with showing my emotions more than happiness or being angry. I'm struggling with telling people how I feel. And, I'm taking things one step at a time. I've done so much already, and I can't wait to see how far I'll get. I can show my stuff, myself more. 1 year ago, I wouldn't show a single part of my body, and today, last week, I bought a top that showed my stomach. That's a huge deal. I can't believe it. So, I constantly had to work with myself to take it as far as I've done. And I'm happier than I've ever been. It's so relaxing to know that you don't have to get mad at everything. You don't have to be angry all the time. You can just let it go. And I'm just trying to be the best person I can be. And that's my story. I didn't want to do a draw my life for this one, since there's so much to tell, and I felt like it was too negative to put in a draw my life. But then I realized, it's pretty positive anyways, since I've come this far. But I hope it helped you in some way. Like, if you're struggling, please don't kill yourself. It's not worth it. It's gonna be better eventually. Just please don't give up. And that is all I have to talk about today. I hope it wasn't too boring, and I hope that you can learn something from this. And even if it's a struggle we have in life, or if you're going through the same stuff as I did, don't give up. Alright, I'll see you in the next video.